Just 24 hours ago, you heard an Allen Park police officer claiming that she had been abused by a member of her own department. Well, that story gave a city resident the courage to speak up, and now he's talking about how he was mistreated.
The man ended up winning 2 lawsuits against the city. Fox 2's Randy Wimbley is here to tell us about his encounters with Allen Park PD. Randy.
Yeah, he claims he was roughed up by Allen Park cops, and when he talked about it at city council meetings, he was kicked out and then arrested. Now, one of the officers involved has since been promoted, and that resident is also more than $100,000 richer after taking the city to court twice.
There's a culture of corruption here in Allen Park.
And Matt Tracer says an Allen Park police officer's explosive allegations against a higher-ranking cop is just one example among many.
He had his hands around my neck and was squeezing very hard, and he closed my airway.
Around the same time, Officer Tracy Brown says her sergeant assaulted her inside a police station in November. The city paid out $58,000 to settle a lawsuit with Tracer. The lifelong resident had been kicked out of a city council meeting for calling a local cop a crook and was put in handcuffs for trying to hand out a transcript he says backs up that claim.
The dispatcher tells this other officer, Wayno is going to beat this guy up. I just have a feeling. Hand through the door and around his neck.
And who's Wayno?
That would be Wayne Albright.
Tracer's encounter with Wayne Albright and 3 other Allen Park cops happened in 2009. He invited them into his home as they responded to a loud music complaint. When he asked them to leave after saying they'd give him a ticket, they refused.
And that's when they jumped me, literally jumped me in my living room, threw me down, jumped on top of me, and hauled me off to jail.
Tracer sued Allen Park, and the city paid him $75,000 to settle the suit. A few years later, he went to a city council meeting and dogged Officer Albright.
Well, I just flat up said he was a criminal.
Mayor William Matakis had Tracer kicked out twice. And when Tracer showed up with the dispatch transcript at the following meeting 2 weeks later,
I was literally arrested as I was walking into a city council meeting.
What about free speech?
That is strictly forbidden by our leadership.
And it cost them. Tracer sued Allen Park again, and the city settled again, this time for $58,000. $58,000 is a lot of money to try to shut somebody up.
It is a lot of money to try to shut somebody up.
Ray Guzall is Tracer's lawyer and represented another man with an eerily similar case.
Mr. Beaton was talking about matters of public concern, and the mayor did not care for what Mr. Beaton was talking about, ruled him out of order, and had the chief of police remove Mr. Beaton from the meeting.
I'm not the only one that this happens to. I'm just one of many.
Allen Park's mayor says both of Tracer's cases were very unusual, and the city's attorney and insurance company urged the mayor and council to settle the lawsuits. And Allen Park is under state oversight. It came out of emergency management in 2014. And one of the Transition Advisory Board's big concerns right now, litigation, and if the city is doing enough to avoid getting tangled in lawsuits and paying out thousands of dollars. Huel?
Randy, there seems to be a pattern here. How many lawsuits has the city settled so far?
Yeah, when I talked to the mayor, that's something that he wasn't even too sure of. But when Matt Tracer first sued the city, there were 19 other lawsuits against Allen Park.
All right, Randy. Thanks.